Is there hidden danger in Texas property taxes? I'm talking about something most people don't even know exists, and it can cost you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars every single year. Stick around. I'm going to show you exactly what that is and show you how to avoid it. Most people think they know and understand property taxes in Texas. You pay your local, county, school, city taxes, and that's it. Well, there's an additional layer of property taxes. Most realtors, they don't want to reveal what that is. But before I get into that, I want to lay the groundwork. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is about living in Fort Worth, Texas, and the surrounding areas like Flower Mound, Keller, Colleyville, or Southlake, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell. I don't want you to miss anything that we post on the channel because it's for your benefit and to help you understand what it's like to live in Fort Worth, Texas. My name is Sean Bone, and my team and I, we get calls and messages every single day from folks just like you moving to Dallas, Fort Worth. And we absolutely love that. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, shoot me a text, give me a call. You can schedule a Zoom in the link below. So let's jump into it. Here's the reality check. Everyone loves that Texas has no state income tax. And don't get me wrong, that's awesome. But here's what people don't realize. The money has to come from somewhere, and that somewhere is property taxes. Texas ranks in the top 10 highest property tax states in the entire country. Let me show you what that actually looks like. If you buy a $500,000 home in Southlake, you're not just budgeting for your mortgage, you're looking at somewhere between $12,000 and $17,000 every year in property taxes. That's over $1,000 a month on top of your mortgage payment. Yeah, and I know what you're thinking, Sean, that's a car payment, and you're not wrong, but here's the trade-off. You're buying into some of the best communities and schools and services in the entire country. And that's where it starts to make sense if you understand what you're paying for. So let's kick off Southlake because let's be honest, that's the place that most people talk about who are looking to move to Fort Worth, Dallas. You know, they're not actually moving to the city of Fort Worth or the city of Dallas. They're looking at the suburbs because that's where you get the good school districts, the great, all the amenities that North Texas has to offer. But the city tax rate, it's low, 0.305 per $100. So 30.5 cents for every $100 of the home's value. So the city of Southlake is very intentional with taxpayer money. They get a lot of revenue from the shops, big, huge town square. It's got tons of shopping. But here's where most of the property taxes for Carroll comes from the school district. That's about $1 per 100. So for every $100 of home value, it's about $1. So that's where most city taxes, or not just taxes, but property taxes in general on a home, that's where it comes from, is the school. So on a $600,000 home, it's about $15,000 a year. Here's the deal. Carroll schools are elite. 98% graduation rate. Students getting into Ivy League schools, top tier universities. It's not just a tax, it's an investment in your family's future. Okay, next up is Keller. I call Keller the sweet spot. You get a lot of bang for your buck. Here's something interesting. Depending on where you buy, you might be in Keller ISD, you might be in Northwest ISD. There's a slight difference between the two district tax rates, 2.64 versus 2.55. That's Keller at 2.64, slightly higher. Not going to break the bank, but it's a little higher. So on a $450,000 home, that's $12,000 a year. So Keller ISD is solid. Slightly higher test scores. Both districts, you're going to get quality education. So it's a win either way. Down a little further, just south of Keller is Colleyville. Safe and sound is kind of the mantra for Colleyville. This is where safety meets luxury. It's consistently ranked one of the safest cities in Texas. The city tax rate, 0.26. It's one of the lowest. Grapevine is part of the Grapevine Colleyville School District. So that school district rate is 1.35, a little higher. All told, you're 2.5 to 2.7. On a $700,000 home, that's about $19,000 a year in property taxes. So if peace of mind is the number one priority and you want safety in an established community feel that's kind of in the country, Colleyville is worth it. It brings value. All right, last couple of places, Flower Mound and Roanoke. So this is lakeside living. They both are right by Grapevine Lake. Flower Mound sits right on the county line of Denton County and part of Tarrant. Taxes don't change much between them, but here's the thing. Flower Mound's city rate is a bit higher. It's 0.4%. You add in the Louisville School District, you're 2.8 to 3%. So one of the highest among all these that we're discussing today. On a $500,000 home, it's $15,000 a year. That's $1,250 a month. You hop over to Roanoke, it's a little easier. Northwest ISD brings it to 2.6 to 2.8. So that's $13,500 on a $500,000 home. If you love lake life, Flower Mound's amenities are amazing. But if you want small town charm, like literally small town charm is Roanoke. Also the dining capital of the state of Texas. And very last on the list is Grapevine. Best of the both worlds. So Grapevine it's a personal favorite for me because it's a hot spot for watching live music. If you want to go to a winery, you got the historic downtown. There's a train that runs through that you can ride. Festivals, you're right by DFW Airport. City tax is 0.42%. The total tax rate comes in at 2.6 to 2.8. And then on a $550,000 home, that would mean $14,000 to $15,000 a year. So living in Grapevine is just fun. Sometimes lifestyle matters more than saving a few $100, right? Okay, so let's get into the hidden danger. What I'm talking about is the PID and MUD, so PIDMUD. The hidden danger most buyers don't even know about, it's a result of new construction. So a developer comes out and they need to put in streets, they need to put in services, they've got to put in water, all the things that's needed. A MUD is a municipal utility district. So when they build the neighborhoods, they need all of these things. Instead of paying for it up front, they are financing it. And then you as the homeowner are paying it back through your higher taxes. And depending on the home's value, this can be an extra $1,200 to $6,000 a year. Now, PID, the Public Improvement District, that covers the pretty stuff like swimming pools, landscaping, parks, gated entrances. So all that sounds nice, right? But it adds an additional $1,000 to $3,000 a year. And so on a $400,000 home, you could easily be paying an extra an extra $400 to $750 a month. But the kicker is it's not always temporary. Some of these are in place indefinitely. Some public utility districts and MUDs last for decades. The real numbers, we're not going to sugarcoat it. So on a $500,000 home, let's just do a quick comparison. Southlake, it's about $13,000 a year. Keller, it's about $12,000 a year. Colleyville, around $13,000. Roanoke, $13,500. Grapevine, $13,500. By the way, I think that Roanoke metric's wrong. If you're within the city limits of Roanoke, it's lower than that. It's less than 2%. So I need to go back and update it. So Roanoke's more like 11.5. But then you add in the additional PID or MUD tax on top of the really high taxes, and that's adding another $600, $1,100 a month. So your total tax bill, including those additional entities, you're pushing $1,500 a month. So that's why we call it a hidden danger. If you're unaware of, does this house have, or is it in a MUD district or a PID? Those are the questions that you need to ask. So what's the game plan? How do you get around it? So the game plan is get the exact numbers. Find out all the tax entities tied to a property. Calculate the real payment. That's mortgage insurance plus taxes. That's your real monthly cost. Even if you've waived your escrows. Ask about the PID and MUD. Do they expire? Are they permanent? Some roll off, some don't. Work with an expert. Not every agent digs into this, but it's crucial. I know this might sound overwhelming, but that's why we do these videos. I'd rather you know up front than be blindsided later. The last thing you want is to get to Texas and you get this bomb that goes off financially. Okay, so let me know in the comments. Which city do you see yourself living in? Southlake, Keller, one of the other places that we've mentioned. Any of the other neighborhoods in DFW, I would love to know. Hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any updates. And before I forget, There was a new tax law that was updated, and it used to be that property taxes were limited to $10,000. That's now $40,000. So if you have the ability to write off property taxes within your tax return, paying a little higher taxes, not having state income tax, that could be a win for your scenario. If you'd like more information, please hit the link below. And thanks again for watching. That's all for today. I'll see you on the next one.